in 1924, October, Abdulaziz ibn Saud makes a proclamation, and they're going to hate me for revealing this to you, because nobody remembers it now. The proclamation which he makes is that this land belongs to the entire Ummah. Huh? This land belongs to the entire Ummah. I wonder how a Pakistani or a Bengali Muslim would feel when he hears that, and he's been rounded up like dogs, stray dogs, and put on trucks because he's overstayed his visa, while white-skinned Americans and British are treated like princes in the Holy Land. How would a Pakistani or Indian or Bangladeshi feel? This land belongs to the entire Ummah. And it is for the Ummah, not for Abdulaziz ibn Saud, for the Ummah to establish the government which will rule over this land. That is his proclamation in 1924.
فإذا كنا نريد اجتماع كلمتنا وتوحيد شؤوننا وحفظ جامعتنا فليس لنا جامعة نجتمع عليها إلا جامعة الكتاب.
If Abdulaziz were to stay in power, he had to destroy the Ikhwan. But how could he, the defender of Islam, justify going to war against his Muslim fighters? His way out was to win over the religious establishment, the ulama, who were regarded as the moral guardians of the realm.
From that moment, they actually changed their role, the ulama, and they became almost like a force to be used to sanction politics. And that was the crucial moment in 1927.
With the ulama's consent, Abdulaziz crushed the Ikhwan. To unite the kingdom, King Abdulaziz married a daughter of every tribal chief in his realm and produced 45 legitimate sons. Every Saudi king since has been a son of Abdulaziz. How many daughters he produced is unknown. They are not counted. In 1933, the first foreign oil prospectors started arriving in the kingdom. King Abdulaziz did not care who got the concession, as long as they paid the money up front. For President Franklin Roosevelt, oil was an American national security priority, but it was the security of the Saudi kingdom that was at the forefront of King Abdulaziz's concerns. He requested U.S. military assistance and training, and they agreed to construct the Dahran military base. In return, the king guaranteed that the U.S. would always have secure access to Saudi oil.
And all the oil that Dajjal discovered underneath the soil belongs to them. They own it. So what about Abdulaziz ibn Saud's proclamation that this entire land belongs to the world of Islam? That's forgotten. That's why they hate me for reminding you of these things.
Since Gamal Abdel Nasser's overthrow of the king of Egypt in 1952, the balance of power in the region had changed. Nasser aligned himself with the Soviet Union and proclaimed himself a socialist and pan-Arabist. For both Saudi Arabia and America, this was a threat. Nasser wanted Saudi oil under his control, saying it belonged to all Arab peoples. The Americans moved to shore up support for King Saud.
Saudi Arabia is absolutely a linchpin, a key to our relationship in the whole area.
King Saud's drinking was kept quiet in part because the king was an important asset for the Americans.
The Eisenhower administration had the idea that perhaps King Saud could be built up in a political fashion that might make him a contender with Nasser in terms of leadership in the Arab world.
In exchange for our free use of the Dahran airfield, they wanted all kinds of materials. They wanted tanks, for one thing, and they wanted training, and they wanted planes, and they wanted anything we would give them.
You cannot restore the Khilafah unless and until you can liberate the Hejaz, Makkah and Medina. You can't do that when the Hejaz, the security of the Hejaz is underwritten by Uncle Sam.
The royal family was scared of the same thing happening to them that happened to the Shah, and namely that the royal family or the Saudi system would be overthrown.
On November 20th, 1979, several hundred Islamic radicals took over the holiest of the Islamic holy places, the mosque at Mecca. After an 18-day standoff, the Saudis, with fatwa in hand, routed the militants. 120 soldiers died. The leader of the insurgents, Juhayman al-Utaiba, was a direct descendant of the Ikhwan, the Bedouin warriors who had fought for and then rebelled against King Abdulaziz. Juhayman and 62 others were beheaded. Saudi leaders lost credibility and respect, especially among religious conservatives.
They're so corrupt in every sense, in Islamic sense, in financial sense, in administrative sense, in every sense, that no way they can reform and go back and become faithful to the country, let alone faithful to Islam.
We killed the extremists of 1979, but later on, like a few months after we killed them, we adopted their ideology. We gave them what they wanted when they were alive. So in every level in our society, I'm talking about the educational system, I'm talking about the media discourse, I'm talking about the relationship between the government and the people, I'm talking about even the relationship between people and the people. We started competing on how to appear more conservative, just to protect our reputation and to protect sometimes our safety. We had to pretend we were something that we actually were not.